Olympique Lyon have been handed a potential relegation to the second tier of French football, while also getting a transfer embargo, all due to their awful financial situation, which is a massive shame. They're a club with a rich history. They are great at bringing through youth talent, just like star player currently Ryan Cherki. This is a perfect cause for a youth to gold rebuild on Football Manager 2024, which is exactly what we're doing today. We've moved Lyon to the second tier of French football, and we're going to see if we can take them all the way to Champions League winners just using their fantastic youth academy. Now, the first thing we have got to do is remove every single player that is not homegrown at the club down to the under-19s and the second team, because we are doing this rebuild starting homegrown at club, and we'll be finishing with a Champions League winning side that is homegrown at club. Get your comments in down below how many seasons that is going to take us. Now, this is our starting side, and it's got to be said, it's one of the better starting sides of Youth to Gold we've got. We've got Alexander Lacazette up front, who for the second tier of France is going to smash it. Malik Fofana at right wing, who's fantastic. Ryan Cherki, who is quite literally one of my favourite central attack midfielders in the world as a young up-and-coming talent in Cam, which is brilliant. So he is going to be here, hopefully, for the whole thing. In DM, we've got Corentin Tolisso and Maxton Kakare, which is brilliant. Cooper Mendy at right wing back, Lazari at left wing back, and then Yahya Etonde Bengui Zhao in goal. And at left wing is Sekou Lega. It's a bit of a shame to see this whole pandemonium go on with Lyon, because as you can see, they are fantastic at bringing through young talent. If we just head to the transfers world and sort of see what young talent they have produced in real life, there are some absolute superstars in here. Castel Lacabia, Malo Gusto, Bradley Barcola, Anthony Martial, Mukhtar Diaby, Pierre Kalulu, Melvin Bard, Amin Nouri, and this is just in the last 6, 7, 8 years. So how Lyon have got themselves into such financial turmoil in real life, I do not know. Now, for some reason, on Football Manager, it doesn't look that bad at all. We have lots of money in the bank, no debt on the club. I'm sure this is something which will be fixed for FM25, so it is fine. But what we're going to be doing for this is not using a single piece of this financial money. We'll be growing it as much as we can. And of course, we've got to sell all of these players as well, which should raise us another 50 to 100 million pounds, which is absolutely fantastic. But let's get into it. I'm expecting a pretty swift promotion back to the top tier of France. I mean, if we check out the season preview, we are 1 to 91. That's not 91 to 1. That is, you put £91 on, you'd get £1 back. So we really should be winning this league very, very easily. And of course, that is exactly what we have done, but not quite in the emphatic fashion I thought we would, as we actually come second in the table to PAL FC. So the 1 to 91 odds were clearly incorrect, because PAL FC have pipped us to the trophy, but it doesn't matter. We have been promoted from the second tier, and yeah, it's all good. The club's reputation is semi-intact. The training facilities, youth facilities, and youth recruitment here is really, really good. Of course, throughout this rebuild, we are going to be attempting to improve these as much as possible. I would love to get all of this up to 5-star. Reputation will soon follow, and we'll be able to produce some absolute special wonder kids, because we have saw the Valencia one. We had like David Silva regens in midfield coming from Valencia, just like their academy. We had like 8 of them, and it was incredible. So if we can get some more like that here at Lyon, we'll be absolutely golden. The team performed pretty damn well. I mean, Ryan Cherki with 26 goal contributions is great. Lacazette up top did grab 24 goal contributions as well, which is good to see, and is an absolute bagsman. But being 34 years of age, we are not going to be using him for long. We need to move on from him and bring in some star strikers up front, because that is what is necessary. That is one thing which is slightly missing from this Lyon team to start off with, but we have had a pretty good looking striker come through, and he's played 3 games this season already. It's Nolan Moulon, who has fantastic finishing, good pace, great consistency, decent determination, decent on both feet, especially as right foot, and is a bagsman as well, which is good to see. So hopefully we should see Nola Moulin turn into an absolute superstar. The rest of the wonder kids that have come through, we've got goalkeeper Frederick Reeks come in. Claudio Lima has come in from Cape Verde, which is awesome. Played 12 games, 5 goals and 2 assists. If you're wondering how I already have regens in the team, is because we are now in 2025, and this is technically season 2, but we're starting it as season 1, as of course I had to relegate Lyon. So that is a whole season simmed. But the one player we did get was Claudio Lima, and my God, does he look fantastic. Great finishing, good composure, a little bit on the slow side, but 6'2", great on both feet, plays simple passes, spirited personality, 5-star potential, no inconsistencies to him, a little bit injury prone, which is an issue, something we'll certainly have to keep an eye on. But this season, 12 goals, 3 assists in 23 games. So a really exciting talent coming through already. Jean-Louis Braud is already a 3-star ability player, 5-star potential, right back, left back, centre back, right wing back, going up astronomically in terms of his stats, and great to see from him. The relegation isn't actually that bad because we're able to develop some of these young players that would not get a look in. Goalkeeper Mathieu Patilou. I could have used Anthony Lopez, but I saw this guy in the academy. I had to use him. He looks absolutely brilliant with 5-star potential. Why not get him in? Malik Fofana, fantastic young talent in real life. Quite hard to develop on Football Manager because he doesn't get the game time, but dropping down a tier means he's going to get lots of game time. He's not exactly smashed it, but certainly looks like a very good winger and will grow with years to come. And there is just a bunch more as well. We have so many talented players already, which is great. Lassine Kanate from Ivory Coast looks good. I mean, there's loads, which is fantastic. And of course, there's going to be more and more as well. Players that we haven't quite managed to sell yet: Mangala, Lopez, Lepon, and Mikatudzi, who's done a pretty good job at clearing out, to be honest. Another great young goalkeeper potentially coming through. It's unreal, the amount of goalkeepers that are coming through, but it's great to see. So from here on out, we're effectively now going to sim and try and make this Lyon team Champions League winners by just using that youth academy. I'm going to be doing training with each player, making a tactic which suits the team. So far, we are using just a pretty standard 4-2-3-1. We're, of course, a dominating side in the second tier of France, so we can get away with using a pretty generic, attacking, dominating system. But that might have to change over the next few years. You might have to drop into a 4-3-3 or drop these back to make a 4-4-1-1 system. We'll see how things go. We'll see how well these players can develop. But I've got to say, it's the easiest start to a youth-only rebuild we've ever had, because we've been able to build our potential players up by having a full season playing football and dominating already. So I actually think next season in the top tier of France, we're going to be able to come around mid-table. So let's see how we get on. Well, there was a pretty big bunch of losses this season. To be honest, we won a few games by decent margins, but as we look down here, there's 6-0, 5-0, 4-0, 3-0, 3-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, and a bunch of 4-1s and 3-1s as well. Defensively, we got absolutely bullied this season. I mean, if we just look at the data hub, this just shows what a horrendous season this really was. I thought we were destined to do pretty well. I thought we were going to come mid-table and quite easily survive. Conceding nearly 2 goals a game and not scoring a goal per game is not going to be ideal for survival. We just about managed to do it, finishing in 14th place. We were 1 point above Nice in 16th and 30 points, double our current tally off of European football. A minus 30 goal difference, 6 draws, 8 wins, 20 losses. We have got to treble our points tally to win the league. That's a long way to go. I was optimistic. We had a season developing our talent. It's looked good in terms of their star ratings. I mean, Kellyan Yahya is now a really good centre-back. Matteo Poulet is a really good goalkeeper, but we couldn't sit the ball in the back of the net. And one thing I'm noticing is about Alex Lacazette, who scored 7 goals this season. This team does not have a lot of goal scorers. Sekou Lega is a Malian winger who looks pretty awful, to be honest. He doesn't suit the way we play. 6'3", not exactly quick. 11 finishing, isn't going to cut it. Malik Fofana isn't a natural goal scorer of 8 finishing. Ryan Cherki is normally quite good. 16 composure, 12 finishing, good pace. This season, 4 goals and 3 assists. We are hopefully going to have these 2-star players come up and help us massively. Issa Konate, we saw him last year. He looks to have developed really well this season. We've got it so he plays games in the second team, which is why he's had so many more matches than it seems. He has played actually 14 games, 10 non-competitively, scoring 7 of them 10 with a 7.10 average rating. Now has 5-star potential. And Claudio Lima actually played a bunch of games for us this season in Ligue 1, 16, but also played 14 games there as the second team, scoring 8 goals in them 14 games. So his finishing, composure and pace has all come along leaps and bounds. We are still very worried about his injury record, but we're going to need him to not get injured because we don't have any other goal scorers. Them two are it. That is our potential strikers right there. That is about all we've got. We need to hope and pray they become good, because I'm not going to lie, Lacazette, he's finished. He's retiring. We need new blood into this team, and we need to improve this defence as well, because if we sort this by picking by best 11, it's already out there pretty much. We've got one player coming in, Yaya Diop, who is a young right back / centre back who can't really head a ball. Very good tackling, marking wise, decent pace, gives me a bit of like Wan-Bissaka vibes as a very good tackler, but not really great at much else. He's not a centre back, let's be honest. He's 6'2", which is good height wise, but I'm not sure how well he's going to do. Jean-Louis Bron has turned into a superstar already, which is great. At just 18, unbelievable to see him come through. But other than that, I mean, even Tolisso and Kakare are getting on. Kakare's obviously 26, but Tolisso at 31. We're going to lose a star player there, so that's another player gone. And then the talent in the team has dropped significantly already. We need these potential players to step up right now. I am still very worried. Corentin Tolisso is our top goal scorer with 9 goals from central defence midfield, and his contract is running out and he does not want to sign another one. And to be honest, at 32, we should be looking to move past him, but he scored our most goals this season. Ryan Cherki needs to be the superstar in this team, but he's only scored 7 goals and he got 5 assists and a 6.82 average rating. That is not a superstar. And we are quite heavily relying on the goals of Claudio Lima, the French now, no longer Cape Verde, winger / striker, is getting there. His finishing is fantastic, as we've known from the very start. The fact he's over-footed helps a lot. He's got great determination, which also helps. And he's managed to stay pretty injury clear despite the fear with him. He has scored 11 goals this season, 7 in our league, 1 assist as well, which is good to see. And he is turning into a very good player. But we are going to need him to score more than 7. And then the other player we need to touch on is Nolan Moulin, because he is developing really well, which is good to see. 6 goals in 20 games, 9 in 19 for the second team as well. He has now developed extreme consistency, good finishing, composure and pace. This looks more like your sort of typical advanced forward, especially at 18 years of age. Having this sort of speed, being 5'9", 15 finishing already, getting balls in behind over the top to Nolan is going to be key for our survival. And the reason I say survival was because even in season 2 in the French Ligue 1, it is not like we are massively clear of the relegation threat. We have got 39 points, a negative 10 goal difference, which is much better than last season, but we still are a long way off European football. We have managed to sort of clear a 12-point gap down to relegation, which is good to see. But it's by no means sort of we're out of the clear and out of the depths. We have gone past the likes of Alex Lacazette. We know Tolisso is leaving this season, and we are bringing through more and more youth talent. But that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. This should hopefully take us to the next step now. Bringing in these young players and them playing, and it just being young players like Jean-Louis Barod is helping us. And hopefully over the next few years, it is going to be enough to take us to European football, because without it, we're going to be pretty screwed. We can't stay as a mid-table French side forever. If we're going to win this Champions League, I imagine it's the likes of Ryan Cherki, Malik Fofana, who do take us there. If we do it without Cherki, as in we've gone past the point where this guy is now retired, I'll be gobsmacked, because he is a superstar on FM. And we need him to be the Lyon king. And finally, he has done exactly that. But it's not just him. It is another player who in real life is smashing it at Lyon. It's Malik Fofana. Both of them this season took massive strides to being our star players. Fofana scoring early there. And then we're just going to see a Ryan Cherki masterclass. A free kick. Having that in the locker, unbelievable. Going left and right and being even-footed, unbelievable. 2 goals so far for him. And we are going to see a hat-trick as we dismantle Montpellier away from home in the Cup in a dominating performance. Now, that cup run did come stopped in the 10th round against Bordeaux, losing 4-2, but it was just good to see the players actually performing and scoring goals, because in the Ligue in this season, we improved drastically. We are now one place and 1 point away from European football, as we finishing 8th with a -4 goal difference still, but a massive improvement. 13 wins, 13 losses, 8 draws, and if we check out the data hub, it is very different to how it looked at the start. We are now scoring more goals on average than anyone else, slightly worse defensively, but can still be improved, which is great to see. And the squad, we have goal scorers. Shirky with 17 and 8 assists. I asked him to become the king of Lyon. That is what he has done. Malik Fofana, 13 goals, 4 assists, and really progressing now, which is amazing to see. Issa Konate, 10 goals, 9 assists. He is looking to be a very good cam for us, which is unbelievable to see. And we've got a striker here, Claudio Lima, scoring 7 and grabbing 2 assists. Actually, out of interest, picking our best 11, it is Lima up top, Konate and Cam, and it pushes Shirky out to the wing position on the opposite flank to Fofana, which is interesting because I would see him more as a cam, but having Konate come through, taking that cam role, means we've now got a deadly trio in behind a striker. I'm not 100% convinced on Lima. I mean, 7 goals says I probably shouldn't be convinced. There is probably better players out there. And if we look at our potential, is there a striker coming through? Potentially. Enesari, 5-star, great composure, great finishing, but is about as quick as me running through on goal, so maybe not ideal. There's a great winger in Alexis Berger coming through, who does look fantastic. Good finishing composure for a winger, that's actually okay, especially at just 17, with great speed. 5'9", little bit inconsistent, something to keep an eye on for sure. Kefran Baron as a centre-back / DM coming through is good to see. Out of interest, he hasn't quite made his French debut yet, which is interesting. As a 20-year-old youngster, I thought he might have, but not quite. We have a Patrick Monteiro. Kellyan Yahya is also doing bits in the defence as well. Nola Moulin is okay. We've sort of seen him from season 1. Looks like he's going to be really good. Just doesn't really play many games. He's obviously just not the choice. There is better strikers here. Lima might not be performing massively in goals and assists, but he is getting the nod over for him. And when Nolan performs, it's a 6.53 average. So it's not like he's staken a claim to be in that starting lineup. But overall, I am very, very happy. We have produced lots of talent now already. We are in 2028. The finances here are unbelievable. Development Centre, obviously they're already in the first team, which is good to see. And club info-wise, we have not quite managed to improve these as of yet. We are trying every single season, asking the board to do it. I mean, realistically, because of the amount of money in the bank, we will eventually get to a point where everything here is 5-star, because there is no reason for them to turn it down. So we are going to produce wonder kid after wonder kid, which is fantastic, and we are now so close to European football already. In just 2028, we're actually doing a pretty good job. And by 2029, we continue to improve and do take that last European spot on 54 points. Look at us, a positive 14 goal difference, more wins than losses, and we're in the top tier of France. New holders, Olympique Marseille, finally beating PSG to the table. Obviously PSG, a massively dominant side. It is going to be difficult to pip them to that top spot, but Marseille managed to do it this season. There's no reason we can't in future years. But there is quite a big issue in that our young players are gagging to play Champions League football, and Jean-Louis Barod, who is our vice captain, is joining Manchester City. He is way too good for us, to be honest. He is Champions League quality. He is unbelievable defensively, great speed. He just wouldn't renew a brand new contract. He was on peanuts, to be honest. And City have pipped him on a free contract, which finances-wise doesn't really bother us. I'd rather they stay until the last day of their contract than sell him for 50 million, because that means literally nothing to us. We are stupidly rich at this point. I mean, the money is an absolute joke we managed to develop, which is great to see. But sadly, we are losing one of our star players. And I mean, I simply can't believe this. We haven't even qualified for the Conference League. We got knocked out in the 4th qualifying round to Basel in a 2-1 loss. So we haven't got European football at all. So I'm kind of glad Jean-Louis has left the club, because we don't deserve a player like him. Pretty cool to see, though. Schalke have won the Conference League. So showing a club in a pretty similar situation to us, to be honest, with our relegation down to the 2nd tier, managing to come up and win a European competition. Obviously, they're not doing it youth only, but seeing them being a top-tier Bundesliga side is pretty awesome to see. And our massive improvement this season in the league is also fantastic to see. 61 points, 24 goal difference, 18 wins, just 9 draws. Europa League football, which is fantastic. We're not ready for Champions League just yet. And my favourite thing here is the top goal scorer in the whole league. It's Claudio Lima, 17 goals. Yes, we have a striker. We have a breakout striker. 6 foot tall, 16 finishing, 14 composure, good decisions, good flair, good vision, good technique. He is a deep lying forward. And injury-wise, obviously it states here, he is massively injury prone. But it's not really affected him too much, which is pretty good to see. In terms of medical report, he has had a lot of little injuries. I mean, he literally gets injured like every month for like a day or 3 days or 2 weeks or 3 days, or he seems to miss out on some games. That is a 2-year period where he's had a 2-week injury as the worst one, which is fine. He can have a bunch of little injuries. It's all right. He has now gone back to being Cape Verdean, so we have a superstar Cape Verde player on our team, 18 caps and 8 goals. What a legend. The top goal scorer in the league. And he's not the only player who has come through and impressed through the academy. Alexis Berger, the French left winger, has also managed to have himself a season and a half. 8 goals, 3 assists, electric speed. This guy is going to be fantastic for us. Issa Konate in Cam is now a 4-star player as well, with 5-star potential, looking fantastic. And of course, the likes of Ryan Shirky grabbing 16 goal contributions and Malik Fana also grabbing 15 is very helpful. We have got a bunch of players now who are contributing on the goal scoring basis, which is good to see. Picking this by our best 11. Seeing out our defence is now decent. We luckily got a pretty good left back to come in, Damien Levanseur, to replace Jean-Louis Brandt, which is good to see. Very similar quality, pretty decent on both feet, can play left back or centre back, so good defensively is good. Yaya Diop and Kellyan Yahia are our 2 centre backs. Sale Kouamendi is still our starting right back, obviously 25 years of age in the Lyon team right now, good to see him. And Matteo Poulet in goal is still our starting keeper. Great aerial reach and jumping reach, is very overpowered on Foot Manager, and it's good to see that he is doing bits for us. Kakare in DM is still here. We now have Johan Fay in DM next to him, and of course Fofana, Konate, Shirky and Lima as our front 4. But Europa League football next season, and hopefully is guaranteed. We're also looking to potentially win the French Cup at some point as well. We are making steady progress, now getting to the 11th round, and of course in the league, making good progress into becoming a top sort of European side once again with Lyon, which is good to see. It's pretty crazy to me that now on the graph, we don't see a single win for Lyon in Ligue 1. And if we just check out the 7 times they won it, 2002, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then obviously we get to here with 9, and we are now obviously down on a downward spiral. Lyon getting back to the top is a long time coming. Interestingly enough, never won a European competition or haven't won the French Cup either since 2012. So a club which is, as I said, a long time coming, getting back to the top of the league. And this season, the Europa League, we showed we were ready to be one of the best teams in the competition, qualifying in the top 8 in the league phase. This, of course, moved us into the round of 16, where we faced up against Sporting Lisbon and beat them 6-2 in the round of 16. And then played PSV and beat them 7-1. A hat-trick from Lima, goals from Shirky, Diop, Berger and an Adamo Nagalo own goal. I don't know what's happened to this team, but we now just know how to score goals at a ridiculous rate. In the semi-finals, it was FC Midtjylland who stood in our way, and Malik Fofana found Ryan Shirky in the box to make it 1-0 in a very early goal. And Malik Fofana down that left-hand side, once again proving to be an issue, finding a ball into Claudio Lima. And the second leg was a 2-2 draw, thanks to 2 goals from Lima, meaning we are going to the final of our first European competition and seeing if we can win the first in Lyon's history. And just 5 minutes in, the Cape Verdean international Claudio Lima got us off to an unbelievable start of a back post header, and it was the only goal of the game. We are champions of the Europa League, and Lyon, unbelievably, in just 6 seasons, are now a European winner. And as mentioned, this is the first time in their history. It doesn't seem correct, but according to Foot Manager, it is correct. A Europa League in 2031 is now with Lyon. We've had a pretty good season in the league as well, coming in 6th place. But of course, we are qualified for the Champions League as we lift a European trophy. Claudio Lima grabbed 16 goals in the Europa League alone, only 6 in Ligue 1, Very weird how he just loves the European stage, but fair play to him. Ryan Cherki grabbed 30 goal contributions, Konate with 14, Fofana with 16, and Nola Moulin, who is still here, grabbed 6 goals and 3 assists as well. But overall, very, very happy. We have won a European competition. We are still in the top 6 in the league as well, showing that very good consistency. And actually looking at this league positions bit here, we were very close to being sort of challenging for the title, second for a whole bunch, and then just dropped off at the end as we concentrated on the Europa League. I mean, our last 5 games, we didn't win a single one, losing to Lorient, Reims, drew to Nantes, lost 4-1 to PSG and lost 1-0 to Rennes. So really could have been a top 4 finish and could have even qualified or challenged for the league as well. So a really strong season, which is fantastic to see. For 2032, sadly, we fell off a little bit, down to 8th place, out of European football, with Champions League just being a little bit too much for us. But in 2033, jumping straight back to qualifying for European football, down in the Europa League on 59 points in 5th place. Now, something where we're struggling with a little bit is goal scoring. Claudio Lima is a good striker, but is grabbing 12 goals per season, same as last year. And Ryan Cherki isn't just a goal scorer. He is grabbing 21 goal contributions. Malik Fofana isn't really impressing too much. Nola Moulin, who last season actually grabbed double figure in terms of goals, grabbed just 6 this year. Konate is more of a creative man with 10 goal contributions. And Berger is just a very quick winger. Lima isn't really the killer striker we thought he would be. I don't know why, because all of his stats show that he probably should be, with good finishing, good composure. Maybe it's just a slight lack of pace. Even for Cap Verde, it's only a goal every other 2 games, and they're not exactly going to play superstars game in, game out. So it's pretty weird that he's not really scoring loads and loads of goals, and that is what we're struggling with. Checking out the data hub, it is really just a case of we can't pull away by scoring lots of goals. We need to have an absolute bagsman, and it's yet to really come through the academy. Like in 2034, it is absolutely fantastic that Ryan Cherki has grabbed 24 goals and got 11 assists. But the fact he's scoring so many is purely down to the fact that we do not have a goal-scoring striker, and he's having to carry the team on his back. We done decent in European football this season, securing quarterfinals, where we lost to Nice in the end, who finished all the way down in 9th place. French Cup, we still haven't managed to win. We are now 9 seasons in, and at Ligue-wise, we managed to secure European football once again. We are becoming quite a consistent top half side and consistently performing in European stages. I mean, it's only once in the last 5 seasons we fell out of it, and that's the season we had Champions League football, so it's probably understandable as we gave everything to that. But we're just not having them like superstar players come through the academy. I mean, Lima is now 26, Moulin is 25. Dylan Barraud seems to be someone which could be our superstar. He is currently 2.5-star rated, scored 8 goals in 3 starts and off the bench with a 7.49. At 18 years of age, he could be fantastic. Again, though, a little bit slow and does lack consistency. So we'll have to see with Dylan if he is going to be that guy. Konate is 24, Berger is 23, Omar Wadrego is 18, but doesn't really have the potential to be a superstar. And we can see we're not really seeing any star players come through, which are like less than 25. I mean, we've got Maxime Mason here as a left back and Damien Levensaw. I mean, Mason's 20, Levensaw's 22, 23, 23, 25, 27. We're not having many 18-year-olds coming to be superstars. Dylan Barraud seems to be our first in quite some time. I just hope he can help this team get to the next stage, because Cherki is now 30, and it's sort of do or die for making this guy a Lyon legend. Winning trophies will certainly help his case of becoming a legend, and he was massively helped in this one. In the final of the Europa Conference League against Osijek, we do go 1 goal down, but we have a striker who is not someone we've mentioned in quite a while, other than the fact of being fairly average, in Nolan Moulin, who's going to grab a hat-trick in a European final to finally give us maybe a striker to trust in. Lima has moved over to the right wing to replace Malik Fofana, which just shows how disappointing his development has been. And we've got a striker in Moulin who seems to be able to put the ball in the back of the net and use that pace, which we have spoken about since the day he came through, to go in behind and score goals. A 3-1 victory, quite a convincing one, and we are once again European champions. We're certainly no closer when it comes to Ligue 1 though, still down in 7th place, and the league seeming to get stronger, still 25 points off catching PSG, but hopefully we are going to start to see a striker develop here. Nolan Moulin at 26 has finally grabbed 18 goals and got 2 assists, 20 goal contributions. It's been some time. Issa Kanate, 21, also good from him. Lima moving out to that right wing position may have worked as well, as he grabs 16. Alexis Berger on the left grabs 25 goal contributions, and of course our king, our god, our hero Ryan Cherki with 9 goals but 18 assists in that cam role. Mentioned that Malik Fofana has fallen off. He's now 36 goal contributions in this season, 2 caps for Belgium in his whole career. Hasn't quite turned into the star we hoped he would, which is a shame, but it's the way of the world. Sadly, with these youth-only group builds, we have to use the best players possible. Dylan Barraud grabbed another 9 goals this season, which is great to see. While we've got Nolan Moulin, who is scoring goals, we can let this guy go and rip up the second team, which is exactly what he's doing, which is good to see, and he's progressing into a really good player. So we are certainly building something now. Hopefully, we are getting towards that point. And in 2036, I thought we were about to become back-to-back European champions, but we sadly lost 1-0 over the 2 legs to Olympique Marseille, who eventually lose in the final to Manchester United, a club which has come a long way and have been challenging PSG for the title for a long old time, with a very decent side. Jonathan Rowe, Elia Wahi, Noah Darvic in this side as well. A really strong club, and we took them all the way in just losing 1-0 over 2 legs, which is great to see. In the league, once again, we have secured Europa League football, finishing in that top 7. But like I said, we are going toe-to-toe with Marseille now, who are 19 points above us with the top goal scorer in the league. It's pretty good to see. Goal scorers wise, you'll never guess what. We fell off again. Nolan Moulin grabbed just 8 goals, about as consistent as, I'm about to say, my upload schedule, but I'm pretty good at that. I upload every 2 days. If you are new to the channel, subscribe. You see rebuilds in FM every 2 days. It's great. But yeah, just our Bagsman isn't really coming through. Dylan Barraud, 6 in 6, isn't really showing that elite potential we need. Lima grabbing 14 is good. Cherki's now 32 and we're still relying on him. And Kanate grabbing 11 goals, 6 assists is good, but we're just really struggling. For some reason, we're not having that superstar come through. We are now up to 5-star training facilities, 5-star youth facilities, still 3.5-star youth recruitment, as they just won't improve it. But we are literally now the best youth academy pretty much in the world. And we saw from the Valencia rebuild, when we had that, we developed superstar after superstar. For some reason, that isn't happening. And it is just really frustrating, because Nolan Moulin then comes back the season after and grabs 18 goals once again. As I said, it's just stupidly inconsistent, which is so frustrating. He's done very well this season, especially in one competition. He helped us massively to lift another Europa League, as we now lift our 3rd European competition, but it's not the one we want. We want the Champions League. We need to win it. We need to win it to finish this rebuild, and this team is not at the level in terms of the squad. It's just not, is it? We're getting there, but are we? Because Cherki's now 33, Lima's 29, and Moulin's 28. It really is do or die. And this season, we just finished down in 8th place as well, having one of our worst seasons in quite some time as well. So I'm not really too sure where we go from here. We need a miracle to lift that Champions League trophy anytime soon. And well, maybe, just maybe, a miracle has been born. Dylan Barraud this season scored 30 goals and got 10 assists. Now, granted, a lot of them goals, 13 of them, were for the second team. He is still transitioning in and out of that first team and second team, but I think we now have a striker. I hope, because this season he was our top goal scorer in the league. He was our top goal scorer in the first team, outscoring, guess who? Nolan Moulin, who is actually gone. We've given up on his contract because he was so useless. So he's out the door. So Dylan really sort of had to step up. Lima grabbed 11 goals, which is good. Cherki, 11 and 5, now 34. He is losing that magical side he's got to him. That sort of quick agility, that quick turn of pace. He has now got 10 agility, 10 balance, 4 jumping reach, 10 acceleration, 10 pace. But still magical on the ball and is one of our best players. So we'll keep him for as long as possible in this team. Kanate 28, Lima now 30. He has been here from like day dot 23, literally day one start of this rebuild. Lima has been here. And he's been sort of the only player that has consistently done very well with Kanate. So great to see. Alexis Berger doing bits in that left wing as well, which is pretty cool. And if we actually do just pick our best 11 and go to the tactics screen, what we are still using is this 4-2-3-1. We've developed it slightly more defensive because we were just getting dominated in terms of going forwards. But I think it's now sort of time to switch it up, get these wing backs bobbing forward, and hopefully we can see a big change for next season. We do actually have a very good year this year. We come third in the league, slightly due to other teams falling off. I mean, we got 59 points. It's not outrageous, but we're still loads of Monaco and PSG. In terms of the Champions League, it's our best performance yet in here. Knockout playoff round, losing to Newcastle, sadly 5-2 on aggregate, but certainly our best sort of performance there, which is good. And in terms of the league, we are getting there. It is a slow process. I think having this man up front could certainly be the difference. Oh my God, I was actually correct. Dylan Berard is the Lyon striker to take us to the next level. 20 goals in Ligue 1 this season. We finally have our star man. And having him be the guaranteed striker enabled Lima to drop out to that right wing position and score 18 goals and get 9 assists. In fact, having a star striker just enabled our whole team to flourish. We started the season in outrageous form, including a 4-1 battering of PSG, who, by the way, this season dropped all the way down to 4th place in the league, opening up a gap at the top of the table. And our form carried on being fantastic through the middle part of the season as well. But towards the end, things got a little bit ropey, including a 5-0 battering against OGC Nice, who actually ended up coming second in the league this season, managed by Pablo Fornals, also with 5-star facilities in everything. But have a guess who they were pipped to the table to. This guy and Olympique Lyon. We finally lift the title. This has been a long time coming. It is 2039. I believe we're 15 seasons, maybe 14 seasons into this rebuild, and Lyon have won the league. And it's all because of Dylan Berard, but also this geezer, Fred Ndongala. We have not seen him yet, but at 30 years of age, he seems to have just sort of been a bit part player in sort of left back. He grabbed 19 assists. 19! We did switch the tactic. We downloaded Josh Daly's best 4-2-3-1, and I mean, look at it. It's not really that different to what we had, just rather than fullbacks and support and being defensive, we moved them to be more attacking. It opened up a complete whirlwind for this team. So we now move on to the Champions League, where we come 11th place in the league phase on 16 points, just 1 point outside of the top 8. In the knockout playoff round, we played up against Fenerbahce and beat them quite convincingly 6-3 in aggregate, with goals from Berard, Berger and Lima having 32 shots in this game. Next up was Inter Milan in the round of 16, where Diop grabbed the only goal in the home tie and we drew 2-2 away at the San Siro. Meaning quarterfinals, here we come, and it was up against Barcelona, and I couldn't be happier with who scored the opening goal in this game. It was that man, Ryan Cherki, to get us off to a fantastic start, and we grabbed a second as well in the home leg as Rodrigo finds a great ball out to Ndongala, who scores yet another goal. He got 19 assists this season, but he was also a goal-scoring threat, grabbing 5 from that left-back position as well. Barca did get a goal back, Vinicius from DM scoring to make it 2-1. But in the second tie, we held firm, we drew 1-1, and we sent things to the semi-finals, where we faced up against Manchester City, and it's got to be said, we got a huge stroke of luck in the first goal of this game, as their centre-back literally just pokes it into the back of the net for us. Monteiro, thank you so much. He did, however, have nothing to do with this second goal, as our Monteiro drives down the right side to make it 2-0. And to be honest, we got lucky in this leg as well, as a Danny Lee own goal means we draw 2-2. Despite goals from Endrick in this game, we end up going to a Champions League final and I've got no idea because we have been so lucky to get here. And well, to be honest, we beat one Milan side at Inter Milan. It was only right we beat the other as well. But again, from our wing-back Monteiro scoring the only goal in this game. I mean, the wing-backs on attack are apparently the most overpowered thing in FM, as we do win the Champions League in season 15. And Lyon are your champions of Europe, champions of everything. Lyon are everything. We have won the French League, the Champions League. We're just not champions of the French Cup, and it's something we actually never managed to win in this whole entire rebuild, which is absolutely baffling to me. But what a season. Eventually we got there. It took us a long time. I mean, where even is Ryan Cherki at this point? He is 35 at this point. He is 2 goals and 3 assists, but an all-important one in the Champions League. He is by far now a Lyon legend and an absolute GOAT of the club. Thank you so much for watching the Lyon Youth Only rebuild. If you enjoyed it, smash the like button on the channel, subscribe as well, and I'll speak to you next time.